as the Bulldogs now work it out of their own end. Nearly out to the 40-metre line now. First set of 6 for the Bulldogs. Referee calls Parramatta back on side. I apologise to the Bulldogs players in advance. It's very difficult to see your numbers on your jerseys today, so I'll do my best to give as many of you, as I mentioned, as I can, but it's quite difficult to see those numbers. As Parramatta look to work it out of their own territory. They're nearly out to their own 40 on tackle 1, so this is a good starting point for Parramatta, and they've broken through from dummy half. That's the winger. That's the winger, Patrick Luatuanu. Miles Martin, the 13, works it to the Bulldogs 30-metre line. And the offload goes forward, so that'll be a let-off for the Bulldogs. They'll look now to work their way out of their own end and start to put some pressure on the Parramatta side. Scrum will pack down, middle of the field on the Bulldogs 20-metre line. Slight breeze picked up here this afternoon, which will help the players with their comfort levels. It was quite hot here this morning. The scrum, the Dogs are out just outside of their own 20, scoot from dummy half, sees them get to their, just shy of their 30-metre line. They attack the short side, face ball, they're down the wing. Excellent work there by young Dungay, I believe. And that is Travis Downtown, working it downtown. What a name. Good work by the young forward to get to that part of the field. Last tackle for the Bulldogs here. They look to their 5'8", Timothy Bull from the Kempsey Club. He kicks it high, very high. Parramatta winger takes it nicely and works his way out to just shy of his own 10-metre line. Tackle 1 for the Parramatta side. They work it out just shy of their 20-metre line. They continue to drive it forward. They're now outside their own 30. Attempted offload there, nearly resulting in a knock-on. But they've maintained possession, Parramatta. They're now outside of their own 40. It is the last. And that's the half of Parramatta. Ethan Sanders, he works it downfield with a good kick, finds a bit of grass, makes the wingers for the Bulldogs go back, pick it up. They work it just shy of their own 20. Bulldogs now bring it outside of their 40. That was some strong defence from the Parramatta side there. Strong running as well by the 13 for the Bulldogs. Last tackle here for the Bulldogs. They're on the Parramatta 40-metre line and they score a penalty. Last tackle penalty. Well, it'll be very upsetting for the Parramatta coaching staff. They defended hard, got to the end and unfortunately just carried on a little bit too long. So the 5'8" for the Bulldogs, that is Timothy Bull. He kicks the touch and they'll now start their attacking a set. Probably 25 metres out from Parramatta line. Parramatta defence holding firm for the time being. Referee's called play on there. 6 again here for the Bulldogs. They work it wide. Oh, it's gone backwards. The referee signalled backwards. And Parramatta recover to make the tackle. That was a tackle that had to be made there by the Parramatta defender, otherwise they were in certain trouble. And then they've made an error, the Bulldogs. That is unfortunate. So the scrum will pack down inside of the Parramatta 20. Parramatta to have the feed. Parramatta now work the ball upfield. Good offload. He was certainly going into touch there. And that's the 10 for Parramatta, Kane Nicholas. He's also the captain of the side, showing a bit of ball playing skill there. Nearly busting through. Lovely off-road there by the 11, Zadori Nabili. And the play continues, and Parramatta will score. And that's Hayden Orley, I believe, on the far side of the field there, will score the first try of the match for Parramatta. There is a player down in the background here for Parramatta. Hope the injury is not too serious. But Hayden Orley will get the first try of the game for the Parramatta side, and they now lead 4 points to 0 over the Bulldogs. Still plenty of time in the half, so Bulldogs will be encouraged by the possession they've had thus far. They've nearly broken Parramatta open a few times, so this game should be a great spectacle for all the spectators here today at Harry Elliott Oval. And we've called time off here. This young player is obviously in need of some serious assistance. They've called for the medical staff. We hope he is all okay. Well, this young man's getting some attention. We'll just thank our sponsors again, obviously. Without SLE Worldwide Australia, none of this would be possible. The major sponsor of the Country Rugby League. Of course, our fitness partner, Anytime Fitness, and our broadcast partner, Bar TV Sports, who are bringing you these fantastic images from beautiful Foster today. There's obviously some concern for this young man, so we hope that he's all okay. There's nothing too serious. If you're watching this from Foster or the local area, I'd certainly suggest you come down and have a look here today. It's a fantastic day. They just sampled the hot chips from the canteen. They are beautiful. Plenty of cold drinks available as well, and some great footy. Some future stars on show here today. So if you're in the area, do yourself a favour. Part with the $5 and come down. Still some concern being shown for this young Parramatta player here, so obviously he's not well. We hope that whatever his condition is, that it mends quickly, and if he can't return to the field of play today, that he returns for the rest of the tournament. The trainer's just signalled to the coaches that it looks like this young man's day is over, unfortunately, so he looks quite groggy. So I dare say he'll need to have some checks done over the course of the coming few days. He'll get a round of applause from the crowd here for his efforts. once he's off, I dare say the clock will go back on and the game can continue. He's not well at all. So now we're just waiting a kicking tee, as all the trainers have been assisting the injured Parramatta player. And here we go, we've got one sprinting on the field now. This will have given both teams a good opportunity to cool down, have a drink and plan the rest of the half out and how they want to play. And now get the game back underway. We'll have this shot at goal. Time is waved back on by the referee. And that's a great kick. What a great kick. 6 points to 0. Parramatta lead over the Bulldogs here with 20 minutes and 55 seconds left in the first half. Just trying to get who that kicker was for the Parramatta side there. That's the 3. Takasima Huihahau. Excellent work. Oh, and there's been some confusion at the back there by Parramatta when catching the kickoff, and the Bulldogs will have a scrum feed inside the Parramatta 20. Plenty of time left on the clock for them to get on the scoreboard here, so the Bulldogs will get set here.
I love you, Fortnite.
A couple of Fortnite fans in the background. Bit beyond me. Take me back to the Nintendo 64. As the Bulldogs will now pack the scrum. And they'll have their first tackle just outside the Parramatta 10. Good strong run by one of the Bulldogs forwards there. Surges to within a few of the Parramatta line. They drive forward again, pretty much under the goalpost here, the Bulldogs side. They'll continue to pepper the line. Bulldogs player driven onto his back. Some solid defence there from Parramatta. That's the centre for the Bulldogs there. That's Mitchell Clark. He's from Olbar. Seeing players like Boyd Cordner come from the Olbar club. The Dogs now attack the kick. It's perfectly weighted. Perfectly weighted, and they'll get a repeat set of 6 here, the Bulldogs. Off the boot, that kick was dead for sure, but it pulled up at the end there and forced the Parramatta fullback to play at it, and the Bulldogs will now have another opportunity to put some more pressure on the Parramatta side. Slight hit in the air, but it's gone backwards. Play on. First tackle for the Bulldogs. They're just outside the Parramatta 20-metre mark. That's the 5'8" there, Timothy Bull. He's light on his feet. He's causing the Parramatta defence some issues there, and it'll take a few of them to shut him down, but they bring him down just inside their 10-metre mark. Trying for a penalty there. And that's Travis Downtown driving it in, getting within a metre. Not sure if that young man was expecting the pass there. He did well to catch it. And the Parramatta defenders come up fast out wide, but the 5'8" has broken through. That's a try to the Bulldogs there. Timothy Bull, oh no! He's lost it over the line. Oh, that's heartbreak. The crowd had gone up, I'd gone up. Just at the last minute, the ball's come loose. So Parramatta survive. They'll have a 20-metre tap. And they'll now look to push further downfield. That's the first run. They get beyond the 30. Great run. And the offload. Excellent work. That's the 10 for Parramatta that's just been tackled. Kane Nicholas. And that's the 13, Miles Martin, driving over the 40, nearly getting to halfway. Needed help from the fullback to come and bring him down. Parramatta now inside the Bulldogs half. On the Bulldogs 40 with 16:45 left in the half. The halfback for Parramatta probing. Solid defence out wide there by the Bulldogs to shut that opportunity down. That's the back rower for Parramatta. Terence Patolo cut down there. The dummy half is Bailey Meredith. He goes for a scoot. He's brought down. Last tackle now for Parramatta. They're just outside the Bulldogs 10-metre line. The halfback will go to the sky with a chipping kick. Good hands by the fullback, by the Bulldogs winger there. And the Bulldogs now look to drive it upfield. That's the fullback, I believe, Malachi Donovan. He's also the captain of the side. Parramatta player down in distress in back play. He's not well. We might have time off here, I believe. We're going to play through for now. He's not in a good way. Parramatta bench calling for the doctor again. We have time off here. The referee's called time off. This young man is not well. This is really going to push the Parramatta side because having a couple of injuries early in the game, playing in these conditions will really test the fitness levels out of some of these young men. So Parra's going to have to do it the hard way here today. Trying to get an idea of who that is down in back play.
Good work, son, you're killing it.
He's sitting up the young man, so seems to be rolling his shoulder. Potentially injured his shoulder.
Let's go, go!
So Parramatta will be playing the ball through number 4, Hayden Orley. Tyrrell Dungay and Raymond Chapman, both from the Kempsey side of the markers at present.
Good work, Mal.
Bulldogs 5'8" Tim Bull and Malachi Donovan there having a chat about how they plan to proceed. The young man from Parramatta is fit to resume, thankfully. It's young Patrick Luatuanu. And that's Kamoe Fakatoa working the ball upfield there. Outside the 40. CSI Unga on the field now for Parramatta. He's come up with an error, so we have a double knock on there. It'll be a Bulldogs feed just on the Bulldogs side of halfway. A few errors creeping into the game at the moment. And the Bulldogs feed the scrum. Donovan with the ball. Oh. Tyrrell Dungay trying to come up with an offload there before going into touches. Unfortunately, dropped the ball. So we'll have another scrum feed now. This time, 35 out from the Parramatta line. Parramatta leading 6-0 here at the moment over the North Coast Bulldogs. And Lua Tuanu has obviously recovered from that injury to take a hit up there. And the halfback for Parramatta there, Ethan Sanders, has had to stop before he ran behind his own players, and somehow the Bulldogs side have come up with the ball. And error upon error sees penalty conceded by Parramatta after dropping the ball. So the Bulldogs will now go into an attacking position, 25 out from the Parramatta line. And let's see if they can convert this into some points. Bulldogs to take the tap. Hit up made. Force their way inside the Parramatta 20. I believe that's the 13 for the Bulldogs. Harry Grant from the Foster Tuncurry Club. Another good hit up there by the Bulldogs. They are now just a few metres out from the Parramatta try line. They'll continue to press. Timothy Bull onto one of his runners there. Donovan pushes for the line. He's looking just short. He'll play the ball inches short from the Parramatta line. It's the last tackle here. Oh, and a fortunate bounce. Oh no, he's called a knock on. Wasn't to be there. Crowd are claiming that it's just kick from Donovan into the from Bull into the legs of the Parramatta defender, and just another kick again. But referee on the field saw differently, so Parramatta are now working the ball out of their own end. Solid defence there from the Bulldogs. Parra have worked it out to their 20-metre line. Now look to drive further, the halfback. Nice offload there to the hooker, Meredith. And Meredith now, some dancing footwork and a big fend there. He's still going. Just brought down 48 metres out from his own line. And that's 24 for the Parramatta Eels. Jackson Rapata with a little kick through there. Bounces kindly for the Bulldogs defenders. That's the fullback, Malachi Donovan. He's also the captain. He works it out to the 20. The Dogs continue to press forward here. And nearly up to the own 40-metre line. Solid contact from the Parramatta defenders there. Ball puts a kick through, but it's picked up there by Lua Tuanu, and he returns it to just shy of the 40-metre line. His centre, Hayden Orley there, works it to the 40-metre line. They'll continue to work the ball down the field there. Offload there from Kane Nicholas. And that was the 11, so Dorian Navili tackled there. I'm not sure who the 24 is. I don't have a 24 in my program, but he's out there making his second hit up. And we have an error here. So it will be a Bulldog scrum feed. And they'll look to continue to work the way out of their own end. And the scrum will pack 33 metres out from the Bulldogs line. That's Mitchell Clark from Old Bar. Gets the ball away. There's Dungo down the wing. He pushes one off, pushes two off. Nearly breaks the third tackle. Great effort by the winger there. That's the 16 at dummy half. Riley Maxwell from Bowraville onto Bull. That's Ben Brennan, I believe. The 12 from Port Macquarie. And an error at dummy half. And that's an unfortunate end to what was a set which was getting a roll on. The Parramatta side were backtracking a little bit and the Bulldogs had them on the run, but unfortunately a little error in the play of the ball has seen the ball be handed back over to the Parramatta side. Jackson Rapata will feed the scrum for Parramatta. He gets it off to his half, in turn gets it out to Kamoe Fekatoa. Now this is Dorian Navili pushing his way upfield. 3 defenders needed to bring him down. Meredith. That's the 24 again with the hit up. Doing plenty of work, the young man. And a penalty to the Parramatta side for hanging around in the play the ball too long. Just worked the Parramatta attacker over just a little bit too much there for the referee's liking, so the whistle was blown and now Parramatta will have a full set of 6 starting on the Bulldogs 30 metre line. We're just waiting for a ball now. And the ball boys supply it. There's an offload there from Patolo, which the crowd was crying forward, but it went on to Martin and he was tackled. It's Meredith looking to get an offload there. He does so. Picked up there by Martin and he's tackled. Meredith back in the dummy half onto Sanders. Gets the ball onto Orley. He's tackled inside the Bulldogs 10 metre line. This is Patolo here with a hit up. He's brought down just a metre short of the Bulldogs line there. And the dummy half, Bailey Meredith, goes for a scoot there and he's just short of the line. And another scoot there from the Parramatta side and they're over. Oh no, we have a penalty. We have a penalty called here against the Parramatta side. So obviously an infringement in the way the dummy half there dove over the line to score that try. And that's a relief for the Bulldogs. And kick the ball up to the 20 metre mark and we'll start their set of 6 from their own 20. And they really need to complete this one, the Bulldogs. And the Bulldogs defender driven back to nearly his own 20. The Dogs continue to work out their own end. They're just shy of their own 40 at the moment. That's Bull. He gives himself up from a potential shepherd. So he's tackled 41 metres out and he's hurt. If he gets to his feet, he's going to be okay. And that's the half, Riley Cribb for the Bulldogs, who kicks it downfield, and that's picked up there by Hayden Orley. He's now playing fullback. that's the 5 for Parramatta. Kemo Fekitoa getting it up to the halfway mark there. That's the front row. Kane Nicholas, the captain for Parramatta, working it inside to the Bulldogs 40. That's a great run from the captain, leading from the front. Davili with the offload, back to his captain. Steps around one of his own players and is eventually tackled on the Bulldogs 30. This is the 15 for the Parramatta side. This is Domenico Distratus. He's just outside the 20. This is the last. 5'8" for Parramatta. That's Jackson Rapata. He puts the kick through. Ty Dungay there to clean it up though. And the ball's popped out the back. And it's a strip penalty against Parramatta. And Jackson Rapata's not happy with it.
Good work, son. Good work, son.
And the Bulldogs will now start their set of 6 just outside their 20. That's Ben Brennan from the Port Macquarie side. He's brought down just past the 30-metre line. The dummy half attracts the defenders. Good work from the dummy half there. Gets one of his big men running onto the ball and it gets them well over the 40, nearly at halfway. Good work there. Donovan tackled just shy of the Bulldogs 40. Inside the Parramatta area now. And another error unfortunately brings the end to another Parramatta Bulldog set of 6. And Parramatta will now feed a scrum just outside of their own 20-metre line. With 2 minutes left in the half. Still anyone's game at the moment. 6-0 Parramatta leading. Both teams guilty of not completing sets. Parramatta look to work it forward there. That's Domenico Distratus working his way up the field. He's outside his own 40 now. Bulldogs want to be careful they don't give away a penalty here. That's the hooker, Bailey Meredith, having a run, and he's hit in a big tackle there by Bull. And that's the 14. And the referee has, it was the 24, but the referee has the Bulldogs inside the 10 and gives Parramatta another penalty. It looks like Jackson Rapata's going to kick here. He works it to just inside, or just outside rather, the Bulldogs 20. And Takasema Hui Hohau will take the tap. The 24 in for more work again. He's a workhorse, this young man. Works his way inside the Bulldogs 20. Sanders drifts across field. He's through Sanders. Just no support there. Throws the offload. It's out the back. The Bulldogs pick it up. The Bulldogs are away. Has he got the legs? He's over the 40. He stops. He goes again. He gets to the 50-metre mark where he's greeted by 3 Parramatta defenders. Change in fortune for the Bulldogs. They now go on the attack. They work the ball inside the Parramatta half. Donovan works the ball across to Bull. Oh, and an unfortunate error there from Mitchell Clark. And that'll be half time here. Entertaining half the football sees Parramatta go in 6 points to 0 leaders over the North Coast Bulldogs. Still anyone's game at the moment. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to beautiful Foster. Second half here of this Andrew Johns Cup match between the North Coast Bulldogs and the Parramatta Eels. Pretty close contest in the first half, really. A couple of errors out of both sides, but Parramatta taking a 6-0 lead into the halftime break. It's still anyone's game. Parramatta will get the game underway here, kicking off to the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs are running left to right. And I think the Bulldogs will be keen to probably put that first half behind them a little bit. There was a few errors that probably cost them. One was they were over the line and they made an error, so at least certainly one try, if not more. So they'll be keen to play some good percentage football here and hold the ball and get through their sets and work themselves into a position where they can score some points from. Parramatta side, their defence has been strong in the first half. They have had a few bumps and bruises, the Parramatta side, so it'll be interesting to see how they hold the game out. Hayden Orley will get us underway here with the kickoff, and we're back underway at Harry Elliott Oval here at Foster. And that's big Travis Downtown with the kick return there. He's from Sawtell. He gets his team off on the right foot. They're now just outside their own 30-metre line. That's Bailey Whitby brought down there. And he's earned his side a penalty. Referee deeming that Parramatta player stripped the ball from his possession illegally. The Bulldogs will now find touch. And that's a quality kick by that young man. He's now inside the Parramatta half. And they'll look to begin their attacking raid. And that's number 16. That's Riley Maxwell from Bowraville. And Dante Wilson-Ho with the big strong hit up there. He's a big man. Bulldogs now inside the Parramatta 20, nearly the 10. That is Malachi Donovan, the captain of the side, dragged down 12 metres out from the Parramatta line. Options both sides. The ball goes to ground, but Bull picks it up. Steps off his left and his right. And they will receive another penalty. So the Bulldogs here with every opportunity to post first points in this half. Bull taps the ball. Gets on its way to Harry Grant from the Foster side, Foster Tuncurry side. He's dragged down a few metres out from the Parramatta try line. Dummy half on the Bull. Bull decides to take them on himself. Nearly gets over. Driven back into the field of play. And that's Malachi, but he's run behind his own player and conceded a penalty. So the Bulldogs throw away early field position and possession. Parramatta survive. They kick for touch. And that's another Barry Crocker, and it hasn't found touch. So the Bulldogs have the ball back again. They're inside Parramatta's 30, making their way towards the 20. And that's big Travis Downtown brought down inside the Parramatta 20. That's Malachi on the 10-metre line. He's brought down. Inside ball, well read by the Parramatta defence. He's chopped down just in front of the goalposts. Bull. That's Mitchell Clark out there. And he's got the ball down, Mitchell Clark. The referee points to the spot and the crowd goes wild here. The local boys have scored their first try of the game, courtesy of Mitchell Clark from Old Bar. And the score is now Parramatta 6, North Coast Bulldogs 4 with a kick to come. That'll certainly please the coaching staff of the Bulldogs. who up until that point had thrown away a few opportunities, it has to be said, but they certainly have put that one to bed, and they look to go back down their end and reset for the kickoff. Not sure who this is on the far side here lining up the conversion, but he's probably 8 metres in from touch, 9 metres in from touch, 20 metres out. Certainly not an easy kick. But he certainly made it look easy. What a fantastic kick that is, and 6 points apiece. That is a fantastic kick, and if I can see the number of the player, I'll certainly give him a shout out. Alas, I can't. And Orley gets us underway again. Downtown with a goose step, works his way to the 20. I think that might be Harry Grant that was just tackled out there. That's come off the Parramatta side. No, it hasn't, says the referee. My eyes must deceive me. The Bulldogs now on their own 40, working the ball upfield. I've been told that the tackle count was reset. I think that's big Dante Wilson-Ho working the ball his way upfield there. Malachi Donovan there, nearly shut down, spins out, goes again, gets within a whisker of the 30-metre line. Bull onto Cribb. Cribb back inside to Grant. Grant brings in 4 Parramatta defenders nearly. Cribb with a kick through. And drifting across field is Kamo Fakatoa. And he is tackled on his 10-metre line. Parramatta side will now drive upfield, and there's a breakthrough. That is the 10. That is Kane Nicholas, the captain, with a great run out to the 30. And that is Patrick Luatuanu. And he's down hurt again. He's got the offload away, but time will be called off here. And this is the second time Luatuanu has gone down today, so we'll certainly be feeling the effects of this match afterwards. Plenty of supporters here for the local boys. Some concern being shown here again for Luatuanu. 22 minutes left in this fixture, and don't forget, after this one we have the Laurie Daley Cup fixture between these two sides again. Both teams playing each other back to back today. And if the Knights Northern Rivers Titans under 18s game was anything to go by, there'll be certainly plenty of feeling between these two sides. Both teams certain to want to assert their dominance physically over the other. And it looks like Luatuanu's day is done. The young man's coming from the field, unfortunately, succumbing to injury. He doesn't look overly happy about it, but I'm sure his coaching staff will want to get that injury sorted and get him right for the next fixture. Oh, and he's away. Zadorian Navili gets brought down by Malachi Donovan in a great one-on-one tackle. That's the hooker, Bailey Meredith. He gets set upon some of the Bulldogs' big men. Sanders with the kick. That's well diffused there by O'Shea Timon. He's the young man that kicked the goal from the sideline. He's from Kempsey. That's a fantastic effort from him. Hopefully we get the opportunity to see his goal kicking skills again. And unfortunately, the Bulldogs have made an error there. And Parramatta are now on the attack. And that is Domenico Destratus. He's within a couple of metres of the line. Oh, and the 24. The nameless player. He scored himself. A great effort there. He's barged his way over the top and Parramatta take the lead again. They now go out to a 10 points to 6 lead with a kick to come. And unfortunately for the Bulldogs' defence there, they probably just bounced off him a little bit too easily. So they'll be certainly looking to rectify that going forward in the match. The hooker for Parramatta is getting a spell. That's Bailey Meredith. He's done well. He's had a great stint in this game so far. He's being replaced by number 16, Adrian DeBitt. Just to confuse me even more, he's wearing a similar colour headgear to one of his teammates. And the conversion there by Takasima Hui Hahau is successful. And that's now a 12 points to 6 lead the Bulldogs have over the Bulldogs. Malachi gets us underway again here. Good hands there by the 5'8" from Parramatta. But then there's another error. And now the Bulldogs will go on the attack. Offside is the call. And on the attack the Bulldogs go. I think that's Bailey Whitby from Wingham there that's tackled. Cribb cuts back on his inside foot after doing well to catch that ball, to be honest. We're going to have a change here for the Bulldogs as well. It looks like Raymond Chapman's coming on the field. We nearly have a try there to Malachi. Bull light on his feet, trying to elude. He does, gets the ball away. Yeah, it's a tie, Dungay. And is he over? The referee's pointing to the spot. That's a try. Parramatta strike back. That was great vision there by Timothy Bull to see the gap outside. And he hits his winger, Tyrrell Dungay, who does some nice footwork there, gets over the line and gets his team back within 2 points of the Parramatta side. It's now up to O'Shea Timon again. He put one over from a similar position earlier. He'll be looking to emulate that, bring the score back to level pegging, 12 apiece. In saying that, however, the wind has picked up here slightly at Foster, so this might be a bit more of a difficult assignment for him, this kick. Wind is coming from Tyman's back. So we'll attempt to push the ball across the face of the goalpost slightly, but given what the young man showed earlier, there's no reason that we'd expect him to fail here. Here he goes. He kicks it. Oh, it's hit the upright. Well, that's the second upright we've hit today. Probably put the commentator's curse on him there. And Parramatta will get the game underway again. They still lead by 2 points, but this is a different Bulldogs team we're seeing in this second half. They're certainly taking their opportunities, treating the ball with a lot more respect. All it gets us underway again. Dogs let it bounce. They continue to let it bounce. It's picked up there. They work it to their 10-metre line. Good run there by the forward. He's nearly out to the 20. And just like that, they've thrown the ball away. And that's Miles Martin working his way through the middle there. And this is Kay Nicholas. And that's a forward pass there from Ethan Sanders, unfortunately, so the Dogs live to fight another day. They'll be looking to ensure that they complete this set of 6 and get it as far down the other end as possible. Fantastic number of spectators here today, here to watch their sons, friends, relatives out on the paddock, and it's great for these young players to have that support around them. Help them along their rugby league journey as the Bulldogs now work it out. Malachi took that hit up there, first hit up. It's now just outside the 20-metre mark. The Dogs continue to push upfield. They're now just outside their 30-metre mark. And that was ball to Clark there. And Clark has unfortunately dropped the ball. So the Dogs really struggling here to get to the end of their sets. And this time Parramatta will start their set. This time is called off for an injury. Parramatta will start this set of 6 inside the Bulldogs' territory. And I think it's Timothy Bull down in the background there with some cramp. On these warmer days, that is an issue we do see, and we have seen today across the course of the day. While we wait for Timothy to receive his treatment, we'd just again like to thank our sponsors, our major sponsor, SLE Worldwide Australia Proprietary Limited, our major sponsors of the Country Rugby League, and without them this would not be possible. And of course our fitness partner, Anytime Fitness, who's been making their gyms available for the players to undertake some strength and conditioning training in. And of course our broadcast partner, Bar TV. Bar TV will be bringing you plenty of sports over the coming winter season, including the soccer, rugby union, rugby league. Look forward to the Bar TV Friday night Newcastle and Hunter Rugby League broadcast, game of the round. As unfortunately for the Bulldogs side, Timothy Bull comes from the field suffering this cramp and injury, so that's a significant blow for the Bulldogs because he is creating a lot of their flair and spark in attacks. So They will need to look elsewhere for that now until at least he can get treatment and get back on the field. Coming back on the field to replace Bull in the number 16 jumper is Riley Maxwell. He was playing in the dummy half position earlier today, so we'll no doubt see a reshuffle in the back line for the Bulldogs. As Parramatta feed the scrum, and the clock is turned back on. And that's a great run there by the 4 for the Parramatta side. He offloads, that was Orley. He's now offloaded to the 11. Oh, the 11. Zadorian Novelli, the ball inside to Ethan Sanders, just come unstuck, and it was over the line, unfortunately. So a try goes begging for Parramatta. And again, the Bulldogs repel them.
Now!
So we'll have another scrum feed here on the Bulldogs 10-metre line. Parramatta side are trying to make some interchanges, but they just can't seem to get a chance to do so. Looks like we'll have Siasaya Unga coming on for the Parramatta side. Jumper number 14. And this is Riley Cribb who's feeding the ball here for the Bulldogs side. Looks as though Maxwell is playing 5'8". And unfortunately, off the first play, they've dropped the ball and given the ball right back to Parramatta. So coaches will be pulling their hair out at the moment. With 12 minutes left, Parramatta have a scrum feed now on the Bulldogs 10-metre line. We nearly had an error off the scrum feed. That was Zadorian Novelli who did well to hold on to that ball. 6 again to the Bulldogs there after it's been touched by a Parramatta to the Parramatta side after it's touched by a Dogs player, but it doesn't matter because he scores in the corner. And the Parramatta side extend their lead now. They're now out to 16 points to 10 lead, and with a kick to come. I think that may have been Kamofa Katoa on the far side there scoring. For the Eels, but I don't say that with much certainty. And the Bulldogs here, the trainers will be just really getting them to settle down, reset, try and put all those errors behind them because they're certainly still in this game. This is by no means an easy conversion, so to kick this and go out to an 8-point lead is a massive win for Parramatta here, but given the angle and the location of the ball placement, it's going to be a great kick if it goes over. So local Bulldogs fans, don't be disheartened. There is still 11 minutes to go in this game. And the third kick to hit the upright today. What an attempt. That was an outstanding attempt at goal there by Orley. However, it wasn't to be, so the score remains 16-10. Malachi Donovan is now kicking the ball off. It's worked its way down inside the Parramatta 10. And that's Siasaya Unga with a great hit up, bringing it all the way nearly to the 30-metre mark after taking off from inside his own goal line. This is Domenico Destratus working his way, driven back slightly, but still outside of his own 30-metre line. The Parramatta turning to their big men to bash it up the field now. Kane Nicholas, the captain, with a strong hit up, but he was met strong as well. And that's Ethan Sanders, the halfback, who kicks it downfield, looks to play some field position. Maxwell is back there. to collect it though. And the Dogs will start their set just outside their own 10-metre line. That's O'Shea Timon working his way up the field there. Certainly strong yards there by that Bulldogs forward. That was number 8, Damon Allison, the Wingen club. The 5th tackle here for the Bulldogs. They're looking for a penalty, not getting one. Malachi Donovan puts up a torpedo kick. Look at the spiral on that. The bounce holds up. All he has to play at it. He returns to the field of play, gets to his 10. Parramatta have a player down. Kamoe Fekitoa has a head knock. Parramatta still playing a man down as Fekitoa receives some treatment. He's succumbed to that head knock, so he's coming from the field. Right decision made there. So for now, Parramatta are still playing a man down as they get it to just outside their own 40 through Domenico Destratus.
When did you get that color?
Sorry, that was CSI Unga, and then their captain, Kane Nicholas. And that's the last tackle now. And Jackson Rapata throws a forward pass, and it's been picked up by the officials. So the Bulldogs will go on the attack with a handover outside of their own 30. And another Parramatta player has gone down with cramp. The condition's starting to get to some of these boys. We have time off with 7 minutes and 55 seconds on the clock. Don't forget, after this one we have the under-18s game between both these sides again. That will be our last game here for the day. Plenty of spectators here throughout the course of the day. It's been great to see spectators supporting all teams here, taking part in the events. It's a great spectacle for the Country Rugby League, and it's also great for the Foster Tuncurry Rugby League Club, who've been able to take advantage of proceeds of canteens and gates and whatnot. So it's great that these events can assist clubs like that. As the Bulldogs now work it to halfway. And that's the 8 for the Bulldogs, Damon Allison, the Wingham side. Malachi Donovan, as you can see, has moved into more of a ball-playing role now. That's a great run there by Harry Grant from the Foster side. Ball's gone backwards. It's now with Bailey Thompson from the Kempsey side. Looks to fend off some of the Parramatta defenders. Works it to the Parramatta 10. Last tackle. They go to Donovan. He puts a crossfield kick in, but it's too deep and it'll be picked up on the 20-metre line. It'll be a 20-metre tap. And he's denied the opportunity at a quick tap. And that was a strong run there by Domenico Destratus to get it back outside. CSI gets out to the 40, but unfortunately loses the ball. Calls of a strip there, but the referee waves play on. And this is Allison again, working the way up the middle. He's now just inside the Parramatta side's 30. Harry Grant works it up to just outside the 10 now. That's a strong run there by Harry. They go to the blind side. Shut down. They're inside the Parramatta 10. Plays up their sleeve. And there's an error in the play of the ball. And that's an unfortunate end to what was a promising set there for the North Coast Bulldogs. And the referee's called time off here as one of the Parramatta players is given some medical treatment. I believe it's Domenico Destratus in the hands of the trainer there, but he's been given the all clear to continue. He'll line up in the scrum. 6 minutes 33 on the clock. And the Dogs concede a penalty for stripping. Parramatta look to play quickly, but they'll take the tap. And then Destratus, he's lost the ball. Solid contact, crunching tackle. And the Dogs have earned themselves another set of 6 inside Parramatta territory. So there's still plenty of time left on the clock here for the Dogs. They can work to a completed set here. That's Cribb at halfback. Malachi Donovan. He's hit hard there. But fair by the Parramatta halfback, Sanders. It's Cribb. Cribb to Whitby. Whitby's brought down there. Raymond Chapman goes into dummy half. And the Dogs now on the attack. And Donovan puts it down. Pass was slightly high. But unfortunately, that seems to be the story of the North Coast Bulldogs' day here today. Four minutes left, 4.5 minutes left here in this match. We have timeout again. So we have one of the Parramatta players. It's gone down. I believe it's the half this time. Ethan Sanders. Put some solid contact on earlier. I'm just wondering if he's picked up a slight knee injury in doing that here. They're certainly looking around that knee area, knee and shin area. So hopefully the young man hasn't sustained anything major. It would be terrible to see him ruled out the rest of this tournament with a knee injury. Still checking this knee out here. Young Ethan, and it looks like he's going to be coming from the field of play.
Why do you have his eye drop there?
There's some reservations whether he'll continue to play or not here, but undergoing some fitness testing and strength testing. Obviously have some concern about ligament damage, but it looks like they're going to allow him to take his place. Fingers crossed for the young man that he doesn't sustain any further damage here. So time's back on, 4.5 minutes to go here as Parramatta look to work their ball out of their own end. And that's the lock on the far side, Miles Martin, with a strong run out to the 30, and he earns his side a penalty. Referee not happy with the treatment that he was receiving on the ground. And the penalty kick from Parramatta is much better this time. It sees them get out to halfway. And they will now look to attack the Bulldogs. So, certainly a bit end-to-end stuff. We haven't really had much football played in the middle this half. It's been either down the Para end or the Bulldogs end, and there's an error from Parramatta there, so we'll pack a scrum now. The Bulldogs will now look to go and attack as the scrum is fed outside of their 40 with 3.5 or just under 3.5 minutes to go. And there's calls for urgency to pack the scrum. Time's ticking away here. Parramatta happy to take their time packing the scrum. The ball comes out the back. And that's Maxwell working his way downfield. He gets over halfway. Parramatta do attempt to drag him into touch but are unsuccessful. That is Mitchell Clark working it over the 40 there. He's now inside the Parramatta 40. Good run from the young man. Malachi Donovan gets inside the 30 now. He'll play the ball inside the Parramatta 30. They go the blind slide. That's Clark. He pushes off one defender. He's then not brought down. He gets the offload away. So the Dogs continue to put the pressure on the Parramatta side here. They're now 10 metres out from the Parramatta line with 2 minutes to go. They go the blind side. They have numbers here. And Clark bumps it up in the air but then catches it. And the referee points to the spot. He was hesitant for a moment there, but he points to the spot, and the score is now Parramatta 16, Bulldogs 14 with a kick to come. O'Shea Timon again asked to kick from wide out here. With a minute 35 on the clock. This is a pressure kick. Can O'Shea take this match to a draw? Minute 6 left. He lines a kick up. There's a bit of breeze at his back. See the flags behind him. He lines it up. He's nailed it. What a perfect kick. O'Shea Timon, take a bow. That is pressure on that young man, and he delivered. The score is now 16 points apiece. There is 37 seconds left on the clock. What do Parramatta do? Do they go long? Do they go short? They go long. Parramatta happy with the draw result. Looking to force an error here potentially. That is Damon Allison with a strong run upfield. He's dropped it. There is 9 seconds left. It's pretty much going to have to be a snap field goal from the base of the scrum here. That's the hooter. And the referee calls it a draw. Well, probably a fitting result, you'd say, at the end of that game. Both teams with some errors in them, but at the end of 60 minutes couldn't be separated on the scoreboard. So congratulations to both teams. A marvellous effort out there today in these heat conditions. And we look forward now to the under-18s taking on each other in the same teams. We'll be back shortly. The North Coast Bulldogs work their way onto the field today. Harry Elliott Oval at Foster. We've just seen the under-16s play a 16-all draw as the Parramatta side now takes the field as well for our last game today. It's been an excellent day of football thus far. Certainly both Newcastle Knights and Northern Rivers put on excellent displays, and now the Parramatta side and the North Coast Bulldogs doing the same. Look at the size of some of these Parramatta players. They must be having 40 Weet-Bix a day. Wouldn't like being on the opposite end of one of them grocery bills. Bulldogs will get us underway here today. Just waiting for the ball to make its way to the field. The ground manager delivers. Millie Falcons, the referee. Here we go. The Bulldogs get us underway. Oh, and good hands there by the 12 for Parramatta. Oscar Mesamo, the captain. That was a very hard take, and he did well. Tackle slightly bouncing up off the shoulder there onto the 10 for Parramatta, Peter Tatio. But the referee calls play on. And now the 13 for Parramatta, John Tay Jr. Beetham Misa. Hits the ball up and he earns his team a penalty. The Bulldogs found guilty of hand on the ball there. I believe that was against Blake Howe, the 8 from Coffs Harbour. And Parramatta will start their new set from inside the Dogs' half. And it's Sione Menakafua taking the hit up off the tap there. Brings it just short of the 30. That's Desmond Rocchetti for the Parramatta side. He'll be dragged down just shy of the Bulldogs 20. Plenty of tackles up the sleeves of the Parramatta side here. They work it wide. That's the halfback taking the line on Gianfranco Grima. Etuale Louis, he'll be hard to stop from that range. They drag him down inches short of the try line. Rocchetti out to Christian Savinia, but the ball is called forward. Promising start for the Parramatta side there. The ball drifted forward, but Christian was going over in that corner unmarked. So the Dogs now will look to work it out of their own end. Michael White from the Bellingen Dorigo Club will be feeding the scrum here. And the Dogs work it over their own 10-metre line on their first tackle. Scoot from dummy half there by one of the Bulldogs' backs. And then we have a handling error by the Dogs. So they invite Parramatta back into their territory early in their set. Parramatta have every chance here to put first points on in this fixture. Desmond Rocchetti's going to feed the scrum. To the Parramatta side. Josh Hay takes the hit up. He gets inside the Bulldogs 20. He'll play the ball. They go to Big Louis. Etuale Louis gets the offload away. And that's a try to the Parramatta side. The referee points to the spot And they take an early 4-0 lead over the Bulldogs side here with a kick to come. It's going to be a kick from out wide, but we've seen some spectacular kicking in the earlier game with the under-16s nailing goals from the sideline. A few unfortunate uprights as well got in the way, but the level of kicking talent on display in that game was spectacular, and let's hope we see the same here. So the Dogs now, they'll be looking to reset, they'll be looking to kick off again and force Parramatta to kick early with some up and in-your-face defence. And Parramatta, they'll just be looking to complete the next set. It's always important to complete your first set after points. Kick the ball up the other end, and that'll be the key message they're getting. As the conversion attempt is lined up. And the kick is waved away, so the score remains 4-0. 5 minutes into the match. And the Bulldogs will look to kick off again. And some strong running there. Sees Parramatta bring the ball outside of their own 20 on zero tackle. And some big contact there. Big contact on Peter Tateo by the Bulldogs team. Etuale Louis now. Look at him go. Halfway. That's the winger, Sione Manakafua. Driven backwards. He'll look for a quick play of the ball here to Drew Lloyd. Lloyd goes on to Tateo. Another quick play of the ball here. They go out the back. Little chip from Gianfranco Grima. He's chasing his own kick. There's a collision. He kicks it back. It's play on at this stage. They have numbers out wide. That's the 3. Oh, and it comes unstuck at the last pass. That's unfortunate for the Parramatta side. Some great initiative there taken by Gianfranco Grima to take the little kick. He saw that the fullback was back, saw the gap behind the ruck there, took a chance, nearly came off for him. So the Bulldogs defenders will have to be very awake to that, because you've seen his intent early in the game, and he'll be sure to continue probing them throughout the rest of the match. Bulldogs now look to work it out of their own line. They get to just outside their own 20. Some solid contact there from the Parramatta defenders. They're big boys. The Dogs tackled on their 30. And a penalty in the play of the ball. Mitch Evans from Port Macquarie earning his side a penalty there, and they probably needed that. They'll now look to kick to touch. Big kick there, gets the Dogs into Parramatta's territory. We're looking for a football. Can't quite see the number on the player there taking the hit up. But he works it to the Parramatta 30. Solid contact on the dummy half after he passed that ball as well there. That was the 13, Bailey Morgan from Coffs Harbour, who played that ball. The Dogs are now just outside the 10-metre line. Michael White takes them on. He's brought down. This will be the last tackle here for the Bulldogs. Interesting to see they take a kick from dummy half, but it's taken in mid-air. Fantastic hands there by, I believe it was Jendamara Stewart from the Parramatta side there, the fullback. Some strong running there by the Parramatta backs as well. giving the forwards a breather and giving them some valuable field position. I think that's Christian Savanea with a hit up there. Gets to about 35 out from his own line. Earns his side a penalty as well for being too long in the play the ball area, the Dogs. So that'll release a little bit of pressure on the Parramatta side. They'll now start their set on the Bulldogs 40-metre line, and it'll be time for the Bulldogs defence to step up here. And that's the 15 for Parramatta. That's Mitchell Webb Lefi. And he's tackled just inside the 30. Josh Hay is brought down inside the 20. Question mark on the play of the ball, but play on's called. Eto'ale Louis just holding defenders off. And Parramatta have put the ball down there through Peter Tateo. So it'll be a scrum feed to the Bulldogs. And they'll now look to get out of their danger zone and complete the set. Hopefully finish with a good kick. And the ball is won by the Bulldogs. They look to go down the short side. They're brought down just outside of their own 10-metre line. Parramatta defenders waiting for the dummy half who decides to go for a scamper. He's brought down 25 out from his own line. There's Ethan Duncombe from Sawtell just passing the ball off there. And that's a big kick there from the Bulldogs. It holds up nicely, so Parramatta will have their zero tackle inside their own 10. So they look now to their pace men to try and get in and do some work, give the forwards a breather. That is Sione Manikafua working his way over the 20. And now Christian Pasatoa doing the same, getting to the 35-metre line. That was a good tackle by the little man on Big Louie there. Got the offload and gets them up to halfway, but Parramatta half there. Gianfranco Grima kicks downfield. It's caught on the Bulldogs' 10-metre line. That was Miles Monta there, returning the ball. He did well. Got his team into a good position to start the set of 6. And we have an error in the play of the ball. So Parramatta will be gifted possession again inside the Bulldogs' half. So Parramatta will pack this scrum with the feed. They're 40 metres out from the Bulldogs' line. They lead 4 points to 0 at the moment with 22 minutes left in the half. And the referee would like it packed again. And the Parramatta side obliges. That's the 3 for Parramatta. Joshua Hay with the hit up off the scrum win there. He's just outside the Bulldogs 30 rather. That's Rocchetti. Inside ball there. That's a solid run there by the 13, Jonte Junior Beethamisa. Parramatta now right on the Bulldogs line. Rocchetti goes himself, gets over. Saw a gap, showed and goed, and gets the rewards. Parramatta now lead 8 points to 0 with a kick to come. And unfortunately for the Bulldogs, they keep inviting Parramatta back into their own half, and they're not going to be able to get away with the points here today if they keep doing that. So now Parramatta will look to convert this try. The kicker will be Sione Menakafua. Just while Sione sets up this conversion, we'd like to once again thank our sponsors, SLE Worldwide Australia, Proprietary Limited, Anytime Fitness, and of course our broadcast partners, Bar TV. Without Bar TV, we wouldn't be able to bring you these pictures today. And unfortunately, Sione's pushed that one wide, so the score remains 8 points to nil here with 19 minutes and 45 seconds left in the half. So the Bulldogs set up to kick again here. And like it has a couple of times here today, the ball's fallen off the tee. And Parramatta take it inside their own goal line. And it's brought out there with haste by Christian Savania. And then the second hit up by Oscar Mezamo gets them outside of the 20. And then big Etuale Louis gets his side outside the 30. Tateo works it outside the 40 now. He's been hard to handle all day. And Rocchetti, who scored that try just a moment ago, gets the offload away to Menakafua. And he's still going. He's brought down inside the Bulldogs 30. Last tackle here. Rocchetti kicks it straight into the Bulldogs player, but he was inside the 10. And that was the 13, Bailey Morgan from the Coffs Harbour Club, has been ruled inside the 10 there and concedes the penalty. So Parramatta will have a full set of 6 now inside the Bulldogs 20. And the Bulldogs will be fighting hard here to keep this Parramatta side out, as there's a slight miscommunication between the tap restart. Big Etuale Louis. He's holding defenders off with one hand, holding the ball in the other, and still making metres forward. He gets within a few metres of the try line. Comes out now to Rocchetti. Rocchetti to Tateo, and he drops it. That's unfortunate because he looked like he was going to break through there and dive over to score, but unfortunately, the ball came loose and the Bulldogs survive. So the Bulldogs now will pack the scrum, feed the scrum. It's fed there by Michael White. They now look to work it out of their own end. And the Dogs now get outside their own 30. They'll be really looking to complete this set here. And the Bulldogs forward brought down there on his own 40. And that's the lock from the dog side, Bailey Morgan. He's brought down just shy of halfway. Ethan Duncan goes for a scoot, engages the markers before giving it off to his halves, who kick the ball downfield. It's picked up there by Christian Savanea. And he gets the offload away. As does Sione Manakafua. And again, the Bulldogs caught inside the 10. So unfortunately for the Dogs, they keep giving Parramatta field position in which they can launch these attacking raids from, and you'd wonder how many more times the Dogs can continue to repel this Parramatta side. Para's been made to do very little defending. They're quite fresh, whereas the Dogs feels like have been tackling for an eternity. That's Oscar Mesamo, the captain there, who's brought down just inside the 30. Goes to Rocchetti. He throws it inside. Tackled just outside of the 20-metre mark. That was John Tay Jr. Beetham Mesa tackled down there before. Now the 15. Mitchell Webb-Lefi. But we're going to bring it back. We've got another error. So we have Parramatta have been pinned here by the officials for a forward pass. So we'll look now to the Bulldogs for a scrum feed. They'll be looking to work it out of their own end. With 14 minutes and 30 seconds left in this half. As the scrum is fed. Dogs work it outside their 20-metre line. And that was Miles Monta there with a strong run. Gets outside the 30 and earns his team a penalty too. Sorry, that wasn't Miles Monta. That was Lachlan Williams, I believe, from Old Bar. So he earns his side a penalty, and the Dogs, they really needed that penalty. That'll relieve some pressure, get them down the field somewhat. They now look to complete a set of 6 here. And Ryan Long from Taree there takes the hit up off the tap. He gets within inside the Parramatta 30. Ball's a little bit astray from dummy half there, a little bit of a breakdown in communication. The halfback's calling for it. He gives it to Ryan Long again. He's brought down and he's injured. And the trainers will come on to ascertain whether he's able to continue. So as they undertake the necessary precautions, I'd again like to thank the Foster Tuncurry Hawks Football Club for holding this event here today. They've put on a wonderful facility for the Country Rugby League to have these events, give these boys an opportunity to show what they're capable of and potentially end up with selection in the country rep squad, which will be touring later in the year. As both teams turn to the interchange bench, number 15 for the Bulldogs is entering the field. That's Himalayat Robinson. He's from Bowraville. He'll be looking to get his hands on the ball as soon as possible as the Bulldogs go on the attack here. Tackled just outside 10 metres of the Parramatta line. They go the short side, and the short ball goes to ground. It's picked up by Parramatta, so Parramatta will have a scrum feed. 10 metres out from their own line. with 12 minutes 40 to go in this half. Obviously a lot of new combinations forming and yet to be tried and tested, so these teams knocking some cobwebs out of their attacking repertoire today. So they'll develop as the competition goes along and they spend more time together training, and the end result will be we'll see some spectacular football from some amazingly talented youngsters who potentially one day could go on and represent these clubs in the NRL, as we see a break there by the Parramatta side. That was Jandamara Stewart brought down there. He's got it, and now the 16, Jai Vakaya, he's away, gets an offload away. Parramatta now inside the Dogs 30. Jai Vakaya again. He's down to the 10 now. The Dogs are holding on grimly here. Dummy half. Spin from the halfback there, that's Gianfranco Grima. He's still going. He's brought down just short of the line. And that's the 25. He's held up. I don't have a 25 in the program, so I'm unsure who that is. My apologies. Last tackle for the Parramatta side now. They come to Rocchetti. He puts a chip kick over the top. Well handled by the Bulldogs winger. He brings it back out to the 20 for an optional restart. And he's shut down just shy of the 30-metre line. That's zero tackle. And we have a penalty to the Bulldogs for the markers not being square. So the Dogs will look to kick for touch here. Get further down the field and start to put on some pressure. As we see the 14, Jack Wood from Foster Tuncurry entering the game for the Bulldogs. And that's Ryan Long from Taree. He takes a hit up there. He gets it to inside the Parramatta 30. Strong running by the young man. The second tackle there. Himalayat being tackled. The Dogs break through here. There's a chance. And the pass is too high and it goes to ground. So another opportunity goes begging for the North Coast Bulldogs. It's often just those last passes which are just not quite going to hand. So with 9 minutes and 28 seconds left in the half, the Parramatta side still lead 8 points to 0 over the Bulldogs here. Parramatta will have a scrum feed on their own 10-metre line. They'll look to work it out of their own end. The referee would like to have that scrum repacked again. A topic which generates much discussions, the scrums these days, their effectiveness and the point of them. As Parramatta now work it, they're outside their own 20. And that was the 4, Christian Savania. He works his way back to the side. Some big yardage metres there by the Parramatta side. Parramatta player there called for milking by the referee, trying to get his side a penalty. Parra play the ball there now inside the Bulldogs half. Calls for high contact there on the Parramatta player, but Bulldogs players get away with it. Rocchetti puts a kick through. It bounces. Is it going to hold up? It continues to bounce. It's not. It's too big, so the Bulldogs will bring it back out to the 20 for a 7-tackle set. And they will look to complete this set and get into some field position in which they can build some pressure on the Parramatta side. Good yards there for the Bulldogs. They're outside of their 30 now, probably halfway between the 30 and the 40. Play of the ball was Slightly sloppy, but the referee calls play on. That's Himalayat Robinson there, brought down halfway, between the halfway and 40-metre line. That's the 13 for the North Coast Bulldogs, Bailey Morgan from Coffs Harbour. He's tackled inside Parramatta territory now. Solid contact there, but he gets the offload away. And unfortunately, again, the attacking rate breaks down for the Bulldogs side, as they will hand over possession once more to the Parramatta side, just inside the Parramatta 30-metre line. And there's 7 minutes left in the half. The Parramatta side certainly have taken advantage of their field position on more occasions so far than the Bulldogs have, and that's reflected on the scoreboard with an 8-0 lead. Both teams here, though, quite evenly matched. So I think if the Bulldogs can get one on the board, they'll continue to score. And like the under-16s match that was held just before this one, it could end up being a very close contest. Great defence there from the Bulldogs. Bailey Morgan rushing up out of the line there and putting a shot on Christian Pasatoa. And it's forced the ball loose, so the Dogs will have the scrum feed just inside their own half. They'll go onto the attack now. Both teams starting to look a little bit tired as this heat takes its toll. And of course, the boys haven't played too much football given the off-season, so could be quite a few of their first actual games. Big shot there. Big shot on Eli Clark, and that is from Sione Menakafua. And he follows it up again, Sione, with a good tackle from dummy half, from marker rather. Certainly set the tone for the set of 6 here. He'll look to retreat to his spot on the wing now. And that was Brock Parker from Coffs Harbour with a big hit up there. Some solid contact on him as well. And oh, what a hit. Big hit on the Bulldogs player there by the number 25, and that's forced the ball loose. So they certainly lifted their defensive intensity in that set there, Parramatta, pulling off some big contact shots on the Bulldogs side. And unfortunately for the Bulldogs, it cost them possession at the end, but I hope some of these North Coast boys don't have to work tomorrow, because there will be some sore bodies. And the fullback, Jendamara Stewart, shows and goes, looking for the offload but doesn't get it. Brought down on his own 40, will play the ball here. Parramatta go on the attack down the blind side. An offload there. Call play on by the referees. Calls for a knock on from the Parramatta side there. It may have touched a Parramatta hand, but it appeared to go backwards. So we'll play on now. The 13 for Parramatta, that's Jonte Junior Beetham Misa. And he's brought down inside the Bulldogs 30. The Bulldogs work it wide now. That's Mitchell Webb left eye. Inside the Bulldogs 10 now on their last tackle. They'll look to their halves. Will it be Gianfranco or will it be Rocchetti? And the initial chase was good, but Parramatta defender's not following up there. So whilst he was on the ground, the Bulldogs fullback was able to get back to his feet, get the ball back into the field of play. So the Dogs now pinned inside their own end, looking to work it out, desperately needing a break in the play here so that they can make some good metres. That's a good run. Gets them out to the 30, looking for the quick play of the ball. Gets it. Last tackle for the Bulldogs here. The ball goes to ground. And there is a knock-on called against the Bulldogs. So it breaks down at the back end of the set there for the Bulldogs again. They hand the ball over to Parramatta Eels inside their own 40. with 2 3/4 minutes left in the half. The Parramatta side will be really looking to make the Bulldogs pay for that error here. A try late in the half like this is often very, very discouraging for opposition. So we could have it here. He's away. Gets to just outside the 10-metre line. The 25 brought down just inside the Bulldogs' 10-metre line. Rocchetti leaves the ball behind him. It's been picked up by the Bulldogs. They're away. Over the 30, over the 40, over the 50, inside of the Parramatta 40. He's putting the gas down. Over the 30, over the 20. Go! Over the 10. Will they get him? What a tackle! What a tackle to bring him down a metre short of the line, but they get there. Quick pick and drive from dummy half by the North Coast Bulldogs, and they get their first points on the scoreboard. But it all comes down to that run where I think it was one of the back rowers picked the ball up and travelled a good 70 metres to set that play up. So against the run of play, you'd have to say the Bulldogs score their first try of the game, but points are points. It's on the scoreboard now. 8 points to 4 with a kick to come. Parramatta still lead, but the Dogs have a kick here, so with 1 minute and 5 seconds left on the clock, the Dogs will be looking to bring this into a 2-point ball game. And both teams will practically make their way to the sheds after this conversion. We've waited some time for the kicking tee, so 37 seconds on the clock and the conversion still to come. That'll be pretty much all she wrote for the first half, one would think. And the Bulldogs desperately needed that try. Desperately to get them back into this game, and might not be an orthodox way of scoring points, but they all count. So could this be the try that turns it around for the Bulldogs, and in the second half we see a more disciplined outfit with more focus on ball control? There's the halftime hooter. So we won't have any play after this kick. He strikes it. It's a high kick and the touch judges like it. So 8-6 at half time. Still anyone's match here at Harry Elliott Oval. Parramatta will take a 2-point lead into the break here. Don't go too far. We'll be back shortly for the second half. And we're back here for the second half of the Laurie Daley Cup fixture between the North Coast Bulldogs and the Parramatta Eels. Parramatta Eels, after scoring 2 early tries, led 8-0, and then the Bulldogs struck in the dying stages of the first half via a runaway intercept, I suppose you call it. It was a kick gone wrong that the Bulldogs picked up and ran away with, so they scored late in a conversion to see them back within 2. It all comes down to this last 35 minutes. Before kickoff gets underway, we'd like to thank our sponsors again, SLE Worldwide Australia, Anytime Fitness, and of course our official broadcast partner, Bar TV Sports. All over the countryside, or state rather, bringing you these fixtures today. And here we go into the second half. Parramatta gets us underway. And a penalty off the kickoff for a shoulder charge against the Parramatta side. And that's an early let-off for the Bulldogs. That'll get them upfield with a full set of 6. And now the Dogs will start their set of 6 on their own 40. And they'll look to work it out. That's the 12 there for the Bulldogs, Ulysses Roberts. He's the captain of this side. He's from the Maxfield Club. And now Bailey Morgan from Coffs Harbour drives it through the middle. He gets into the Parramatta end. He'll play the ball. And now the Dogs are inside the Parramatta 40. Bailey Morgan again with another run. But he got set upon that time. So now, after Nash Atkins plays the ball, the Bulldogs, they'll chip for the corner. And it will just go dead in goal. So it'll be brought back out to the 20 for a 20-metre optional restart. 7 tackles coming up here for the Parramatta side. Parramatta have a player struggling in background. Trainers are on their way out to attend to him now. And Parramatta work it out to the 40 now for some big, strong running. Now that's Mitchell Webb Leffi, who's into the opposition half. And Gianfranco Grimo is set upon there by the Bulldogs defenders. And they go back to Mitchell Webb Leffi there for another shot at him. He works it to just outside the Bulldogs 20. And Grima puts a crossfield bomb up. Almost goes backwards. And that's the last now. So they'll have another shot at it here. And Rocchetti again goes to the sky. Parramatta chasers coming through. That's come off the Parramatta hands, but the player was in front of him, so that's an offside penalty against the Parramatta Eels. And the Bulldogs will now kick for touch and work their way upfield. And look to get into some attacking position in an effort to put some more points on. Oh, but it hasn't gone dead. The Parramatta fullback has done a wonderful job there, Jen Damara Stewart, to keep it in the field of play. And he's cutting across field now. Big fend, but the defender from the Bulldogs come back and closes him down. He has the ball on his own 45. And an error in the offload there from the Parramatta side. Just looking to force the offload there was Mika Tonu. And he hands the ball back over to the Bulldogs, who will now pack the scrum just outside of their own 40 and look to attack Parramatta's line. But we have time off here as we have a Parramatta player down, getting some treatment from the trainers. Been a bit of a brutal day today for some of these players, and we've seen some injuries and some players not able to return to the field, so we hope their injuries mend in time for them to partake in next week's fixtures, as the Bulldogs look to their interchange bench to bring on some fresh legs. Blake Howell and Max Shaw looking to make their entrance into the game for the second half. And the Parramatta player has been given the all clear to continue, so the scrum will pack down just outside of the Bulldogs 40 metre line, and it is won by the Bulldogs, and that is Lachlan Williams who makes that run. And we've just seen Himalaya Robinson and Bailey Morgan come from the field for the Bulldogs, and the Bulldogs have won themselves another penalty for the markers not being square. And they'll now kick for touch just outside of the Parramatta 40 and look to put in an attacking set. But again, they failed to find touch again. And Jandamara Stewart has picked up the ball again and diffused another attacking set for the Bulldogs, and they'll be disappointed with that. That's back-to-back penalties that have failed to find touch. They'll be looking to rectify that very quickly. So Parramatta now working it just outside of their own 30 towards the 40. Great run there by the 12, Oscar Mesimo, the captain of this Parramatta side. He's looked dangerous every time he's touched the ball today. And that's Mikitonu running in support there. He gets tackled. Some big front-on contact there by some of these boys. That's the 16, Jai Vakai for Parramatta. That's solid contact. That's Grima. He puts the kick through. That's taken there by Max Shaw. He's playing on the wing. He's come from the Coffs Harbour Club. Little scoot there from dummy half. Gets him out to nearly the 30 metre line. And here's the captain for the Bulldogs, Ulysses Roberts. He gets to nearly the 40 with some strong running. Oh, big contact again there. That's hurt Joshua Hay from Parramatta. That stung his shoulder there. And that was a solid run there by Eli Clark. That was Lachlan Williams from the Old Bar Club. Ran with some real venom there, and certainly the Parramatta defence will be a bit careful about taking him on as hard next time. Jandamara Stewart there nearly coughed up that ball in trying to catch it, and he did well to hold it, as we see Etuali Lui making his return to the field, and Parramatta making some yards here. They're nearly out to their own 30, and that was Christian Savania. And big Etuali Lui. He just keeps going upfield. How are you going to stop him? He's a Mack truck. And they bring him down inside their own half now, the Bulldogs defending. That's Jonte Jr. Beetham Misa with a strong run inside the Bulldogs 40 now. This is the last tackle here. What will Parramatta do? They put it through the hands. They've got the Bulldogs short outside here. Oh, and he's just tripped over, and the ball's come out the back. But the referee is going to blow that he was tackled, and that there will be a handover. So Parramatta looking dangerous there, running the ball on the last tackle. Certainly giving the Bulldogs something to think about. And it nearly paid dividends for the Parramatta side there. Just a slight trip at the end there probably cost them a 4-pointer. So The Bulldogs will now look to work it out of their own end. They're just inside their 20. Some of the smaller end getting in there and doing some of the work to help their forwards out. It's been quite warm here today in Foster. There's a bit of a breeze blowing now, which is fortunate. So they play it now, just inside. They're over the 30-metre line now. Mikatoni there with some big contact on the Bulldogs player. They look to spread it wide. There's the captain, Ulysses Roberts. He's put it down this time. We're going to come back for a scrum feed, though. Joshua Hay thought he was away for a minute there. So we're going to have a scrum feed on the 40-metre line pretty much. And Parramatta will have an attacking set. So Grimmer is going to feed the scrum here. It's picked up at the back by Lloyd, given on to Hay. He's tackled just outside of the Bulldogs 30. Lloyd is in dummy half again. Louis, big run. The Bulldogs do well to bring him down in that short amount of time. He's just outside the Bulldogs 20. That's Mikatoni away, gets the ball away there. That's Hay. He holds on to the ball, realises that he's running out of room and bails out of the play, decides to fall to ground and take the tackle. Pasatoa is going to play the ball, goes to Grimmer, goes to Tonu. He's brought down inside the Bulldogs 10. He'll get a penalty for that. That's really unfortunate for the Bulldogs there because they've done well to hold on. Here comes Louis. Are they going to be able to hold him out? The answer is yes, they just do, I believe. They just hold him out. Tonu goes in. He's cut down just short of the line again, and he's dropped it. So the Bulldogs survive. They'll pack a scrum on their 10-metre line and look to work it out of their own end. There's plenty of time left on the clock. There's still 24 minutes and 35 seconds left in this match. The Bulldogs have absorbed a lot of pressure there, so let's hope they've got some energy left to work it up the field. Nash Atkins is going to feed the scrum, it looks like here. And they work it out of their own end. They're just outside their 10-metre line. Trying for a quick play of the ball, but a bit tangled up there. The ball goes to ground. It's picked up, though, by one of the wingers. I think that was Miles Monta from the Macleay Valley there. Did well to work it outside of his 30. And the Bulldogs have put it down. Hitting the ball at pace, and it was slightly behind him. So Lachlan Williams from Old Bar unfortunately puts that one down and brings Parramatta right back onto the attack. So it looks like Rochetti's going to feed this scrum here. And what have Parramatta got set here? You've got Jonte Junior Beetham Mesa looking like he's going to have the ball here. And off he goes. He runs into the Bulldogs defenders. Gets just shy of the 30-metre line. He'll probably play it on the 30. He will. That was Jai Vakai brought down there. And it's put down by Louis, hitting up the ball. So the Dogs survive again. Both teams with a case of the dropsies this half. And it seems to be that whoever can hold the ball the longest here is certainly going to go on to win this game, because at the moment, both teams certainly inviting the other back into the contest with handling errors. So the scrum is set. Nash Atkins from Wingham feeds the scrum. We have time off here. The referee's not happy with how the scrum is packed. It's packed again. Nash feeds the ball. It's picked up by the Bulldogs. They look to work it out of their own end. They get outside of their own 10, but not to the 20. Bulldogs forwards now. Hit it up through the middle. Doing the hard yards there. This is the 8, Blake Howell for Coffs Harbour. He gets outside his own 30. He's looking for a quick play of the ball, but he's been put on his back. That was Michael White, I believe, for the Bulldogs side. He's brought down just outside of his 40. It's a big contact there on the Bulldogs runner. It's the last tackle. And the ball goes down again. The Dogs half does not get to his kick. So again, Parramatta on the attack inside the Bulldogs half. Jonte Jr. Beetham Misa gets it to the 40. And that's the 4 for Parramatta. That's Christian Savanea. He gets it inside the 30 now. Some of the Bulldogs players lying in the ruck. This is Big Louie in the 8. He gets an offload. And the Parramatta Eels will just outside. They'll play the ball just outside the Bulldogs 10. They go to Rocchetti. He goes on the inside to Tateo. And it's forward. It's called back by the referee for a forward pass. So again, an opportunity goes begging. Both teams starting to feel the effects of the heat now. Some of the Bulldogs players stretching cramps out in the background. So this scrum will be packed on the Bulldogs 10-metre line. That is Nash. He takes the line on, looks for an offload but can't get it away. Now the Bulldogs work it out to their own 20, but the ball's gone down again. And it's going to be another scrum feed to Parramatta here. So both teams really struggling to get to the end of their sets in this half. Interesting to note in this second half, it looks like Oscar Mesamo might be carrying an injury, although he's running slightly better now. This is Mikatonu. He's going to be hard to stop. They bring him down a metre out of the line. It takes quite a few defenders to do it. And this time Joshua Hay puts it down for the Parramatta side. So the Dogs now, again, get the opportunity to work it out of their own end. This is Lachlan Williams from Old Bar working it up the field. He's brought down just outside his 20. And we have another error in the play the ball here. And the decision's reversed. There's a hand in the ruck, so it's been called a penalty. Much to the Bulldogs supporters' relief. And Michael White will look to put it dead. And he does so. The set of 6 will commence 5 metres into the Parramatta half. And Reece Kendall from Camden Haven has the ball stripped from him, so it's back-to-back penalties for the Bulldogs here. This is going to give them some excellent field position. They're going to kick to touch here again. They do so. They find touch on the 20 metre, just on their side of the 20 metre line. And they're asked to bring the tap back again. So Ulysses Roberts was going to hit the ball up. He will again anyway. And that's a good run by Ulysses. Some big defenders on the opposite side there. Bailey Morgan's back on the field. He works it infield. Just to the right of the posts. Nash steps off his foot, takes them on himself. He's just short. He's asked to play the ball just a metre out. The Bulldogs now put a kick in. And it's a try out wide to the Bulldogs. A lovely little kick through there from Michael White. And I believe it's Miles Monter on the other end of it. Can't see the numbers from here, so I apologise if I got it wrong, but that was an outstanding little kick through. So with that try, the Bulldogs now take the lead. 10 points to 8 with a kick to come. 15 minutes, 50 left in the game. Still plenty of time. But the Bulldogs get some field possession, keep the ball in hand, and reap the results. Now look to get down to their other end now while the conversion's being set up. Now look to complete the next set and force the Parramatta side to work it out of their own end. Both teams showing signs of exhaustion playing in these summer conditions. So the local boys, North Coast Bulldogs, have the lead. This looks like Michael White is going to be lining up the conversion attempt. It's 5 in from the touchline. He kicks it. And it's good. So 12 points to 8. The North Coast Bulldogs have extended their lead on the Parramatta Eels. And now it's the Parramatta side who are under the pump. The Bulldogs will be awaiting receipt of this football. And we'll look to complete the set. Drew Lloyd's going to get us underway here. He does. Ball holds up slightly in the wind. And the Bulldogs have dropped it off the kickoff. So Parramatta straight onto the attack. And Big Louie is going to be hard to stop from this sort of range. They get their numbers in there, 4 or 5 of them. And they just bring him down a fraction short of the line. They spread it wide now, the Parramatta side. Jan DeMurra Stewart there, offloads. The 14, Cole Leonard, gets away with a defender. Jan DeMurra Stewart has dropped the ball into a Bulldogs defender. So the Bulldogs survive. They'll have a scrum feed on their own 20 and work it out of their end of the field. Some of the players getting a little bit upset and their own teammates admonishing them to settle down. And the referee wants to talk to Mikatonu here, who's quite agitated. He's called out the captain, Oscar Mesimo, as well. He sent the Bulldogs players away. So after that little chat from the referee, after all that, Parramatta have been given the scrum feed. And they attack from the base of the scrum. Rocchetti gives it to Tateo. He forces his way through, pushing defenders off left, right and everywhere. One of the Dogs defenders in the way of the ruck. The Parramatta player's just held up over the line there. He's asked to play the ball though. Big Louis, are they going to be able to stop him here? They do so, they get their numbers in there and they bring him down. And they're caught out wide here, the Bulldogs, and they concede a try. They rushed up in defence and were caught wide on the edges there. The Parramatta side were able to take advantage of that, so they strike back. It's 12 apiece now, with 11 and a half to go in the game. And Parramatta will have a kick attempt from out wide. I've just been told by the crowd that I've been calling Kane Parkinson the wrong player. I apologise for that, Kane. The number on your jerseys are very unclear. Does make it very hard. So, the Parramatta side will look to convert their try. Scored out wide. 12 apiece at the moment. And here's the kick. It's been waved away by the officials. So with 10 and a half minutes to go, it is still 10-all here at Harry Elliott Oval in Foster between the North Coast Bulldogs and the Parramatta Eels. And the Parramatta side await the kickoff. And Michael White will send this deep into the Parramatta territory. Quite a large kick. And that's a solid kick return there from Christian Pasatoa. And then Etuali Louis follows up with a big run, which sees Parramatta nearly out to the 40. And then Jonte Jr. Beethan Misa follows up with another big run. And then Louis puts the ball down. So the Dogs are on the attack. Ulysses Roberts tackled just on his side of halfway, but gets the penalty. And Mikitonu again doesn't like something that the Bulldogs players are telling him. Getting rather upset again. And the Dogs kick deep. They'll have the start of their set 15 out from the Parramatta line. And that's Ulysses Roberts. He takes the first hit up. He gets inside the 10. And that's the 13. Bailey Morgan nearly breaks through them. He's brought down just shy of the line. The Bulldogs will now look to spread it wide. And there has been another error by the Bulldogs. So another opportunity is missed. And Parramatta have the opportunity now to work their way out of their own half with 7.5 on the clock. It's still 12 points all here. The Bulldog supporters urging their team to keep Parramatta down this end. As the scrum is won by the Parramatta Eels and their first tackle is done 15 out. The second tackle, they work their way over the 20. And Big Louie works his way up again to 35 out from his own line. And from one big man onto another, the 25 is not listed in the program. The Parramatta acting half, looking for a quick play of the ball. Louis shapes to pass but takes them on. Is brought down in an awkward position and has hurt his knee here, and he has fallen quite awkwardly as time is stopped and the trainers make their way out to check on his well-being. Gets back to his feet as the 10 for the Bulldogs, Brock Parker, makes his way onto the field. So it looks like Louis is going to be okay to continue for now. Brock Parker for North Coast Bulldogs has replaced Reece Kendall. Trainer's still undertaking some fitness testing on Louis, but he's giving them the thumbs up. And the thumbs up go from the trainers. And they work it out wide, the Parramatta side. Nice offload there from Jandamara Stewart. Another offload there from Josh Hay. And the crowd begging for a forward pass. And we have time off here. It's a handover. That was the last tackle. So the Bulldogs now with possession just outside of their own 30. Blake Howe's going to play the ball. The Dogs continue to work their way up the field. They're just gone into Parramatta territory. Bulldogs player has fallen into that tackle and been taken quite high. He's a bit ginger back to his feet and he's down again. So the trainers will get out to him. Bailey Morgan gets it over the Parramatta 40. But there is a Bulldogs player out there who is severely concussed. He will need to come from the field. And the Dogs chip for the corner. And it goes out. 10 out. We have time off here while there was the Bulldogs player in the background who's copped a rather severe head knock. He's just down on the ground seeking some attention from the trainer. And we have another Bulldogs player down with cramp as well. In fact, they're going down everywhere. One of the Parramatta players is down as well with cramp. So you can see the effects playing in this heat has had on them, and there will certainly be plenty of sore bodies tomorrow from both sides. 5 minutes left in the game, 5 minutes and 9 seconds to be precise. And Parramatta will have a scrum feed just outside of their own 10-metre line, as the young man from the North Coast Bulldogs makes his way off the field. He's still quite unwell. He earns a round of applause from the spectators for his efforts. We won't be seeing him today, one would imagine. So, we pack the scrum. We're still holding up here, waiting for one of the Parramatta players to getting some strapping done. And one more time while we wait for this stoppage to cease, we'd like to thank our sponsors, our major sponsor, SLE Worldwide Australia. Obviously, without these guys, we wouldn't be able to put these events on. Anytime Fitness and Bar TV, our official broadcast partner for the CRL. Now it's Big Etuale Louis who's been receiving some treatment there, so he is now back up. The scrum is being packed on the Parramatta 10-metre line. Dreamer is going to feed the scrum. It might be Drew Lloyd rather. It is, it's Drew Lloyd. And Parramatta now work it out from their own end. 15 out from their own line. Their first tackle is completed. They've dropped the ball in the play. Dropped the ball in that tackle. So the Bulldogs now will have an opportunity to pack a scrum here. And the Bulldogs, we've discovered, are playing with 12 as they have no interchanges left. And the young man came up with concussion, unfortunately, cannot go back onto the field. So, unfortunately, it looks like they're going to have to play the rest of this game one player down. Dogs have got an offload there. They're inside the Parramatta 10 now. They're still pushing. That's Blake Howe working his way, driving and spinning his way towards the try line. We have time off. He's held up, so he'll be asked to go back into the field of play to play the ball. He's asked to go back to the 10-metre line. He will play the ball. Bailey Morgan takes the line on. He's brought down again, only a metre or two out from the line. Let's put it wide there. Bulldogs player wrapped up out wide there. Still inside the 10. Finding it hard to get around this Parramatta outfit. They now drive it through the middle. And they're brought down short. It is the last tackle now, with 2 minutes left on the clock. And communication breaks down at the back end of the set there. And the opportunity for a potential field goal or repeat set has gone. Parramatta now have the ball, 2 minutes 35 left. And Parramatta now work it out of their own line via Christian Savanea. He's picked up and put down on his own 10-metre line. Parramatta continue to work it forward now. They're outside of their 20, however, the Bulldogs drive them back to just on the 20-metre line. They'll play it just outside the 20. This is Big Etuale Louis. He pushes 1, 2. He's still going. He's over the 40s. 44 out from his own line. Big run there. That could change the game. Parramatta now work it wide. The fullback, Jandamara Stewart, works his way towards the sideline but goes down before he can be pulled into touch. This is Sioti Manakafua. He drives through. He's only 18, 17 metres out. It is the last tackle here. Parramatta. They also have a breakdown in communication at the back end. Foster, North Coast Bulldogs have come away with the ball. They have it on their own 10-metre line. 1:30 left in the game. Big contact from the Parramatta side there. He did well to hold on to the ball, the youngster from the North Coast. They continue to work it upfield now. They get to their own 30-metre line. 1:15 left in the game. Foster have a player down in background. They're now playing with 11. And they've dropped the ball inside their own 40 with 55 seconds left on the clock. Parramatta will get to pack a scrum here and have the opportunity of potentially scoring a 4-pointer or a field goal to snatch victory here against the North Coast Bulldogs. They quickly set the scrum. The referee has not called time off. He's now called time off. 34 seconds left in the match. The Bulldogs are playing a compressed defence here. Parramatta have numbers on the near side here. They only need to get the ball wide. They kick on zero tackle. The ball holds up, it's picked up. And Foster running into touch. 15 seconds on the clock. 10. Will we have time for a goal line dropout? This one could end in a draw, just like the under-16s from the same team did. And it will. That is the end of the game. Both games in the under-16s and under-18s ending in a draw. Quite phenomenal. Congratulations to both sides. They both put on an outstanding performance here today. Trying conditions. And we look forward to seeing these teams again going around in coming rounds of the Laurie Daley Cup. Thank you very much for watching today on Bar Sports. It's been fantastic to have you with us. We look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.